Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Dealerchat podcast with David Gott, the lovely car company, and myself, Joe Bessie of Motors. We would normally have James of Chops Garage, but unfortunately, he's scheduled himself to do a handover today. But that's okay, because it gives me and Dave a bit more time to talk to our special guest today, which is Sheik Hassan, who is the owner of Motor4U, is a car supermarket in East Sussex. I think this is going to be a really interesting conversation because Sheik is built from, judging by the email that I got from Sheik's wife, from selling from a one-bedroom somewhere. Don't even know if it was a one-bedroom flat or just one bedroom in a house to, over 300 cars at their car supermarket. Me and Dave are both going to be very inspired, I imagine, about, kind of the business growth. And Sheik seems a real character as well. I've seen you on TikTok, actually, doing a few bits and pieces. So, yeah. So welcome on, Sheik. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you, guys. Love what you guys are doing. I love what you're creating, Joe, and you, Dave. And I think there should be so much more of it. The community has fallen apart a bit because there's no communication, and we need to be together. We can share so much information, growth, all the problems that we all face. We all sometimes think we're on our own, and we're not. Things like the Facebook page for car dealers, it's always really interesting and stuff like that. But sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's fine. Yeah, I think you're right. And that's what I love about these is you get the opportunity to speak to everyone else. And like you said, probably before we started recording, we all face the same problems, which it's really easy, as you said, to think, oh, I'm the only one facing these problems and oh, everyone else has got it sorted. And it's just not the case. Everyone's struggling in the same ways. Yeah, it doesn't matter whether you got 30 cars advertised like me or 300 like Sheik, you still face the same problems. It's just slightly bigger headaches, probably.
Yeah, yeah. It's
So, go on. Sorry, we keep.
I'm murder for it. Oh,
I was just going to say, Sheik, tell us how Motor4U came about. Tell us your story when it comes to car sales. How did you get to where you are now?
so I was in financial sales for 20 odd years. Basically, I started at Abbey Life in Uxbridge Road. I'm going to shorten it because it's too long. I was door knocking for life insurance. Then I moved into car insurance, then cross-selling car insurance to life insurance, mortgages, financial sales. Then I moved into running a sales team of 10, cross-selling from motor insurance into financial sales. Then we linked up with handling windows. And when people went out on the road and sold finance product windows, we would sell off the back of them. So we would go in there and say, right, you've got 5 sets of short-term high interest finance, TV, car, this, that, everything else. Let's consolidate into one loan and we'll sell that. I opened my own business in 89, 90, and we lost everything in 92, basically. I had a few properties, I lost everything. I had 3 kids, 2 kids, 2 boys at the time. My sons, Pasha and Omar, lost everything overnight. We had a few properties and whatever else. The interest rates went to 15%. It was tough. So my mother-in-law gave me a room in a house in Beckenham, in Kent, which I still live in. I live in Beckenham in Kent. Don't live in a one room anymore. I went into a bit of depression for 2 or 3 years because I had a lot, and then going from a lot to nothing was tough. Couldn't afford to feed the kids and that. And it's not a sob story, just is what it is. And a friend of mine came round and he said to me, Ree, sell that car for me. My middle name's Riaz. And I sold the car and I made 900 quid. And I thought, you know what? It's not too bad. And it simply inspired me. I used to get up in the morning at 6, get the Loot. Remember the Loot? Loot newspaper?
No.
Oh, loot. Yeah,
Loot, yeah.
yeah, loot.
I used to go and buy a Golf GTI Cabriolet and trade it to a mate of mine who had a showroom down the road, a guy called Harry, who I'd known from my childhood in Balham. I grew up in Balham and Clapham. I used to trade it to him for 100 quid a day. I lived in that room, sold in that room. I've got a picture in my office of an IKEA bookshelf that I bought with some picture hooks on it, that I'd had 1 or 2 cars. And I'd sell in that room, eat in that room, sleep in that room. And I just put my nut down and grafted so hard. We're talking the days before the days before you have to take a draft for a car, bank it, wait for it to clear, then go and buy your other car. So I learned from the ground up. You used to have to write out your adverts on an Auto Trader pad, take your own pictures, take them to Wimbledon, and they'd be issued on a Thursday. So I've seen it from there. I don't know, 7 sites. I never wanted a site. My best days, my most profitable days were working from home. I loved it. I enjoyed it. I loved it, and then my sons grew up. I took on a showroom in Beckenham, a little 20-car showroom. We outgrew that. We moved to a bigger showroom in Beckenham, then Croydon, built an MOT centre there. We were doing MOTs and all the rest of it. I stopped outside work. And then 3 years ago, I got ill. I had heart failure. And I was 50-50. I was going to live or not. There's a lot behind that story, a lot. And I woke up, and all these years of staying small was because I had that worry of losing all my money from back when I lost it all. And I didn't want to expand. And when I came out of the illness and I survived, I said to my sons, I don't want to be in Croydon anymore. Let's go for it. So we got funding from BCA. We opened up in Flimwell. And we just went for it. And then all of a sudden, we're 350 cars. We're selling 200 a month. We're smashing total. We're rebuilding at the moment because I've got rid of a lot of stuff. Because what happens in a scaled business is that there's only a certain amount that certain level can get you to that level. Then you need to reassess. Because what we done was when we joined it, I'll tell you just briefly, we took it over. It had 5 technicians there, and it was a retail workshop. It was making 10 grand a week at the time, doing really well, but it had about 30 cars. We wanted to make the sales growth big, but the workshop wouldn't listen to me. They wouldn't listen to me. Kept saying to them, I need my cars done. And I kept saying to them, whatever that makes a week, we make a day. So you can't keep, it just didn't work. But they wouldn't listen. So I went on holiday, came back, and I got rid of everything. And I restarted. But what we done with the sales, we kept adding. So we grew, add one more salesman. We grew, add one more salesman. But that doesn't work. You need to strip back and rebuild. Because a certain amount of people will get you to a certain stage. And then you need to change and get A's and B's, not C's and D's. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. It's just what you need to move forward and to scale. We want to be Foresight's 100 million turnover within 3 years. That's where we'll be. And you can't do that with some people. You've got to rescale. And you've got to say to yourself, this is what I want. And no one's going to stop me. It's my vision, it's my hard work, it's my graft. And that's what I'm going to have. But there's so many elements to get in there. So many elements. It's a real roller coaster of a ride. But going from them 50 cars to 390 is really difficult. Really difficult. And I wouldn't wish it on anyone. The one thing I've realised, being honest, a sales job, and we are a sales business, is that car dealers that do it the old school way, it's very difficult to carry on because with Auto Trader bringing out that new AI system this week to do your adverts, to do your pictures, they're going to align your pictures how customers want to see them. They're going to write your adverts for you. It's going to standardise everything. How do you stand out? If you don't stand out on price, you've got to stand out on quality. It's very difficult. We're not high street. We're in Sussex. Although I live in South London, we're in Sussex. It's difficult to stand out now. And the niche markets, Lamborghini, Ferrari, and all the rest of it, they'll always survive because they're a different marketplace. But people doing everyday stuff, it's difficult. It's tough market.
I can only imagine with that many cars, that many staff.
How long have you been doing it, Joe?
What's that? Car sales?
Yeah.
5-6 years. So not long, really.
Do you enjoy it?
Yeah, I do. I don't know. I've only recently probably figured out that got a diagnosis that I got ADHD, which explains a lot for me because I've always been really driven, and I'm always looking for the next thing and the next thing. So I've had lots of different businesses over the years, done lots of different things because I kind of enjoy the building it bit.
Yeah.
But this is the one that I've stuck at. So there's obviously something to it.
You've got great attitude towards it, which when I was 27 cars in Croydon, if an engine went, it'd be the end of the world. It'd be the end of the world. Now we've scaled, it's not too bad. And there's so many processes out there to help you. Legal solutions for you. They've just brought out an after-sales service. So £499 plus VAT, and they take all the phone calls. It helps. So the things like an SD card's missing, or I don't know how to program my remote control, a key or whatever, things like that. It's just helpful at our scale. You need these things, but we brought in trainers. So we brought in a specialist sales trainer. We brought in another guy who ran supermarket, 18 supermarket before they sold the Kazoo. We've started to learn that you need to bring these people in because I can't do it anymore. What I will say about car sales is that we are a sales company. Where we get the leads every day, Joe, you must get frustrated. Dave, you must get frustrated. Your leads land. You've got to have a way of qualifying those leads. You've got to have a process for those qualification leads, because it's the qualification process, the discovery process that leads to the sale. The more rapport you grow with that customer, the more qualification you get into that lead, the more it goes through the funnel, the more you have. What we're doing now is we're building a call center. Then the leads come in, they go to the hot desk then deals with it, building the quote and everything else, and then it goes on from there. But you need that process. Do you know what I mean? To carry on. And you've got to, I haven't had a holiday with my kids for 15 years. Long time, isn't it? Long time.
When did you start trading? In what year? How long have you been doing this for?
2002.
2002. So, and basically what you're saying is the bigger you go, the easier it gets then, would you say?
If I could start again now in a big site, I've learned so much, but you've got to dip your toe to carry on. It's really, you've just got to do it, Dave.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I started off with funding of 150 from BCA, and I didn't want to do it because I'm old school. I think to myself, no, I'm not lending any money, I'm not borrowing any money. But you only get places when you borrow.
I know.
You only get places. But when you get those interest payments every month, it's painful. Some of my friends have got millions upon millions. Do you know what I mean? And it's not easy. Not easy to one downturn. But we're all here because we're enthusiastic about what we do.
Yeah.
You've got to have so much self-belief, so much motivation. And remember, I work with my 3 children and I speak to my 2 sons every day and my daughter, and they self-motivate me. I've got 2 grandsons as well. Whereas you guys, you're on your own, basically. You've got your partners.
Yeah.
But that's, it's not the same as having that motivation every day, bouncing off. It's different. It's difficult. It's really difficult. And there's not enough. As I said, I go to a lot of BCA dues. So I get invited to the football, to the cricket, whatever else. And some people just don't like sharing information. They run their 1,000-car site and 600-car site and 500-car site. And it's taken years to get to that point. And they're not willing to share the information. But then you get people like me who don't mind, I don't mind. But I don't want to keep talking.
No, please keep talking.
Yeah, keep going.
I'm just soaking it all in. Because the thing for me, Sheik, is like, that saying, teamwork makes the dream work and all that. I know a lot of people say, the more staff you have, the worse it gets. But for me, like, the last few years, like, got salesman James, got valeter Wayne, now I've took on Ali, and hopefully we're going to take a mechanic on. And it's a lot more enjoyable. Like, we're all in it together. We're all on that. It's like, do you get to a certain stage where you take on so many staff that it's hard to manage? Do you know what I mean? Is there like a balance you've got to get right?
Yeah, but what you guys need, I would say, is a right-hand man. A right-hand man who can take over a lot of responsibility. And the sad thing is, years ago, if I was paying 50 grand for someone, I'd want blood.
Yeah.
Nowadays, that's a normal salary. You pay that to a tech. It's true, you pay peanuts, you get monkeys. You've really got to level up and say to yourself, I need someone, like a business manager to run your finance. Something like that, to deal with the everyday running of those qualification and leads. Right, how many leads did we get to? We got 10 from car gurus. Right. Each one has to be handed out and qualified. You need someone, because you can't do it all yourself. You can't. So you need to employ someone at good money or a bonus scheme or commission-based, good basic commission in a car. And you say, these are your duties. You get the lead in, you hand it out to the salesman. Salesman will then, before he gets a new one, you bring it back to me. And you say, what happened with that lead? People have to be accountable. like, Dave, how many valets that Wayne does? Every part has to be structured. Every part, from the top to the bottom, your day has to be structured. You guys know, if you don't buy any cars, there's nothing for them to do.
Yeah, you need a system. Got to have a system.
Talking about employing people, I always thought if there's someone who's that good as what I want, I always just think I wish I could have a second me, or someone who just does that one job as good as I do it. Not because I'm amazing, just because I put so much bloody effort in. And I always think if I find that person, they're going to be working for themselves. They're not going to want to work for me. But the truth is, you pay the right money, you will get someone, because not everyone wants to run a business. They're probably much more sensible than us.
But trust me, Joe, they're out there. They're out there because you're not going to get exactly what you need straight away, but you can mold. And there's nothing like recruiting within. I've realized that no one's ever going to be as in love with the company as you are. No one's ever going to step up to that level, that mark. You've got to mold that person into what you want them to do. And believe it or not, we're all doing it at the moment. You guys can take an hour out to do a podcast, or 2 hours to do this, or a day off to do this, because you can trust in what you've got. It's only building on that, isn't it? We thought to ourselves, we're thinking now, how can I give access to my bank account to people to be able to see deposits on the weekend? Because if I want to take Sunday, I don't work Sundays and I don't work Thursdays. But if I don't want to be there, my daughter doesn't want to be there, who's got access to the bank account, how do I do that? So what we've got to do is open up a separate bank account that they can only got access to see a margin. Because I spoke to NatWest yesterday, they said we don't do it. But it's just looking at the problem and going backwards to resolve it. That's all it is. But we lost 6 staff last month, 6 staff to rebuilding. We want to rebuild. We're our own onboarding scheme. We're going to train our own people, and it's going to take longer, but it's going to be 10 times better.
Can I ask you something, Sheik? Like, I don't know if you know, but I've sold my house, and the money from my house I've put into cars. Mental, isn't it?
No, it's good.
And we've got better stock, taking on a mechanic, all that stuff. But I know for a fact this year I'm not going to make any money. I know I'm not going to make any money because I'm putting it all back into the business. Is that part of it? Is that what you had to do?
I'll tell you something, Dave. What you're doing now, I've had loads of opportunities in the past to buy property again. But because I've been in so much pain from the years before, I didn't do it. But where are you going to get into a business that in 5 years' time, with your proper growth, you're going to be earning 100 grand a month, turning over 30 mil?
Yeah, you can't get from property.
No, things take time to grow. You look at a property deal there. I live in South London. So if I'm going to buy a house, a 3-bed house around there is 800 grand, right? So if I've got to buy that, I've got to put 200 grand in. I've got to wait for capital appreciation because the rents ain't going to cover it. I've got to put my hand in my pocket, whereas I've got a business that turns over 30 odd million pounds. And if I throw my life into it, which I have done for the last 20 years, there's no holding back, Dave. You've got to believe in yourself, believe what you do, and just throw caution to the wind and say, I'm doing this. I'm doing it. When I got ill, and my finance rep from Blue rang my daughter used to be an underwriter for Blue. And she rang my son and said, is your dad still looking for another site? And he said, yes. She goes, I've just driven past Mark Lilly's in this Sussex and it's empty. And when I went down there, I thought, this place is huge. It's massive. It's over an acre. I said, it's massive. Within 2.5 years, we've rented across the road. We've got 100 cars. We've got no room because I keep reinvesting. And yes, we make mistakes. Yes, we have issues. Yes, we have loads of things. But the general vision never stops. Never stops.
That's it.
I'm 60 next year, and I'm so hungry every day for it. And that's it. The thing is, once you start, same for you, Joe, and you start bringing on aggregators, Auto Trader, Car Gurus, Haycar, AA cars, all them things. You've got to have a way of monitoring what's coming in, where it's coming in from, how many leads you're getting from it, what the cost per lead is, where you're making your most sales. And for that, you need a media company to do it. Do you know what I mean? You need a media company to run all that for you because you can't do it. What you guys want to do is walk in every week and say, well, how many sales do we do, how many warranties do we do, how much finance do we do, how much leads did we get, and where are we? To get to that point, it takes years. It takes years.
I always think it's that like chicken and egg situation, isn't it? I always think, oh, I'd love to have someone who is really on top of everything, and I just kind of wander in and be like, right, what do we sell, whatever, what sort of stuff do we want to buy, and I'll go and just sit out the way at the back and buy it. But the thing is, like you were saying about the bank accounts, I need to set it up so that my team can have access to the bank account. So even just paying for cars and things, because the reason I was on my phone a minute ago, I wasn't being rude or uninterested whatsoever. I was paying for a car. There's that element, but the problem I always have is I need all this to make my life easier, but because I haven't got the time at the minute, I keep putting it off, setting up.
It's hard. And the thing is, have you used Motorway Pay?
Motorway Pay? No, I haven't. No,
I tell you what, it's brilliant. Do you buy it from Motorway? Either of you?
not really.
No, I'm on it, but I don't use it that much.
So I do all the buying, everything to do with buying. I do it. Have you used the Auto Trader thing where you scrunch it into dealer portal?
Is that where you take like a listing of all the different cars and it kind of gives you the retail ratings and whatever?
That's it, and you can set all the parameters.
I think that's an paid extra on the cheapo account that I've got, to be honest.
You can do that, but I don't do it. I've been buying for 20 years, so I just use this mostly. That's all I do. But with Motorway Pay, you preload the account. So you send whatever the amount is in the mornings so I will sit with my transport guy. I'll go, right, that's what we're buying today. I'll send X amount into Motorway Pay. Then he's got a text message when he goes to see that car and say he gives 10 grand for it. He can send the money from Motorway Pay, but he's got no access to that account, and he's got no way. The only way you can withdraw from that account is back into my business account. It makes your life simple. But what happened to us was we were buying 100 a month off Motorway. Adam from transport was going out on the road, we got our own lorry, whatever. I'd go and buy them, bring them back, but it'd be 8, 9 o'clock at night. My son would be getting phone calls, 9 o'clock, he's washing his son or putting him in the bath or feeding him or whatever. And it was just so hard work. It's hard, it's good, but you're dealing with the public. It's difficult. So it's a great way. There's more margin in the cars, but it is tough and it will drain you guys.
I'm interested in that because I want to ask you. Let's talk about Motorway, because the reason I don't use it is because I've bid on some stuff and I'll put in what I think. And to be completely honest, I suppose the type of stock we're talking, I might be buying like cars that are 10 to 15 grand. And I saw one of your TikToks and you're scrolling through, and it was just like about 30 Range Rovers, though slightly different stuff probably, but I will bid something that I think has got quite a lean margin in it and will assume that the car is good. But then you actually go and look at it and either it's not as described or whatever, or that hasn't really happened for me. What's happened is I've just been outbid. And I think, who is working for that margin? And I think the only way is they're bidding to view. So they'll turn up and then they'll appraise the car and then they'll adjust the price. And you've obviously got it right if you've got a driver and who's able to do that. But for me, it would just be like another added element.
The problem is, Joe, for smaller dealerships, is that the manpower needed and the quality of the person going to see that vehicle needed is high. My guy who does my motorway buying, he's got a set process of what to do. Goes around there. We've got BCA Pro. Have you got that, BCA Pro?
Yeah. Dealer Pro, yeah.
So he will go and do all the pictures, plug it in, do all the stuff. We've got a JLR mechanic, so he will go through anything, strip chains, balance shafts. We know, we've been there, got the T-shirt, everything else. And every single vehicle has an issue, every single vehicle. We bought 110 months before last off Motorway, and we've got 2 blown engines. That's just the normality of it, And BCA, we've only just recently brought in a checking service when they bring. We're not as far ahead as you think. Trust me, we've just brought someone in to check the cars when they arrive, to go round and plug them in, check them, and stuff like that.
Yeah. Is that for your assured type things? Just so you can...
It's 3 days, and
yeah, we hardly do that. But I think in this job, you have to be gung-ho. Like 2 years ago, I bought 150 EVs. And I'll tell you how funny, I'll tell you a story. So 3 Jaguar I-Paces went wrong. I'd done about 20 shots on them. One of them's gone into Jaguar, and I've forgotten about it. They rang me last week saying this car's been here a year and a day. What do you... But we shot 300 grand on EVs in January. That's what we lost. And I know I'm smiling, but it's painful. It's painful, mate. But we know a lot about EV. We sent one of our techs, on an EV course. He was the only independent EV tech there at 20 main agents. And that was expensive, but now we can do EV servicing, we can do that sort, but we don't do any outside work at all. No, it's just all our own work. That's all we do. I've got 6 techs. When I built the sales floor initially, I spoiled everything, and the pay structure was wrong. It really was. We were having deals being paid out. You know, you're looking at 70, 80 grand per person, and we had 60. It's ridiculous. It couldn't carry on that way, because if we want a second branch, I can't have 20, 30 salesmen on that sort of money. So we had to reduce the wage structure. And what we've done with the money that we saved is that we put it in the infrastructure of the workshop and the body shop. But getting body shop was really tough. Getting really good techs is really tough. You know, I've got 6 good techs now. I've got 2 in the body shop, 5 valeters. I've got, as of next week, we'll have 8 salesmen. Just about building that infrastructure in the right way. And what I said to you guys, if I could do this all again, I'll do it. My place is a mess. If you go there, it looks like an expensive car park. But last week, I bought 3 EQSs. Thought, well, you know, the big Merc EV. Because I look at it, they're 130 grand, second-hand at 50 grand. So, and we sold all 3 of them.
We all love value.
What's really important to kind of, I guess, point out, I'm sure everyone's picking up on it anyway, but point out to the viewers is everything you're saying there, Sheik. So you're saying, you know, like when you're losing loads of money on EVs and whatever, and these are the hard bits, but you can't, and we'll get it in comments on our YouTube videos, like, oh, you should buy Kia Picantos and nice safe stuff with small margins and whatever. And I'm trying to explain to people, like, no risk, no gain. You know, you have to, and you have to take the risks, and you will take some losses. One of the sort of, I guess, like a phrase or a motto that I live by is like action beats inaction every time.
Yeah.
The amount of people who just won't do anything because it could be too risky. And like you were saying about taking on this site that you took on, you didn't really think too much into it or whatever. And sometimes that's the best way to do it, because if you overanalyze it, you won't do it.
The thing is, John, you go to all your friends, wherever you are, and you say to them, look, I've seen this on the site. It's 100 grand a year. It's running costs are going to be 150, 200 grand a month. They go, are you mad? Are you mad?
But then you say to someone, wouldn't you like to have a place that had 300 cars in stock and you would turn in 30 million? They're, oh, yeah, of course I would. But you can't just jump from that to that. And it's like, how else do you think it's going to happen?
Yeah.
There's no step by step.
Yeah. Do you know what? A lot of people look at us and think he must be doing really well. But I lived in the same house I have since 2006. I drive a different car, but I don't live no big lifestyle because I'm not into that. I'm really not. It doesn't interest me.
You ain't got time to look for another house, Sheik. You're too busy running the place.
Do you know what? In my office, the sales board is there, and they have to come past me to write on that board. And that is the most incredible thing in the whole site, is that board. And when you hit, like September, we've done 204 cars. And when you hit those numbers, you think it is achievable. We can do this. You know, and I don't want to sound like a twat, but it's not about money for me. It really isn't. It's about achieving who you are and being the best person you can be that day. Let's make a difference. You know, let's change it up. You know, everyone who says you can't get there, I'm going to show you I can. But that motivation, you've got to be self-motivated all the time. You know, I work upstairs, so I got mezzanine, and I work upstairs with my daughter. And last week I went back down on the sales floor, and I absolutely loved it. I loved it. I really enjoyed it, you know. So what's the plans for the future, Dave?
Well, mate, honestly, just everything you're saying, we're all sort of like cut from the same cloth, aren't we? I wake up every day and I cannot wait to get to work. and I come home, I'm knackered. I can't wait to get to bed to get to work. And since I've sold my house, I've just realised that, like, this is all it's just a game. It's just having good fun. And I'd
Yeah,
rather be doing that than be like, "Oh, well, I've paid my house off and, I'm living this comfortable life." This is far too much fun doing this, taking the risks.
both you and Joe need to be uncomfortable all the time. And I don't mean that I don't mean to try and to suck eggs, but I am happiest uncomfortable.
You'll be pleased to hear then, Sheik, that yesterday I had £14.57 in my business bank account, and I was rambling around to get money. I traded out of 6 cars yesterday because I'm like, God, I've got
Shit.
a week full of cars lined up to buy, and I've got 14 quid in my account. And that's with me having raided my savings, having raided another business for the money.
The thing is, though, Joe, you know it's going to come back.
Yeah. And we're buying less stock than we ever have. So
The used car market in the UK is the most resilient business you'll ever see in a recession, ever.
Yeah. Everyone needs a car.
Yeah, you'll never see it. Might drop in the last recession. '08, we lost in the last 3 months. It lost 27% vehicles. Yeah, by January it was back up. So we know used cars, EV. Yes, since COVID we've had this. We have. And we've had EV hit the market. We've had insurance premiums on Land Rover. We've had all these things, but we're getting a dead cat bounce now. EVs have come back mega.
Yeah.
They're £2 over book at the moment. You can't buy. ID3s are flying, EQEs, all the chauffeur companies. We know in January, PCO, you can't PCO unless it's hybrid or EV. You can't license a car in London for minicab use unless it's EV or hybrid. Uber now give a £5,000 grant if you've got an EV gold member. As soon as you upload that car, they give you £5,000 towards that cost, which is really good.
I think one of the things that keeps me interested in this business is because it's a bit of an art form, isn't it? You've got to kind of spot what is the right thing to buy. And it reminds me of that video I said where you bought like 30 Range Rovers or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Taps into exactly what I've said ever since the beginning. But since I did a video, the whole prices, I was like, prices of Range Rovers are tanking because the insurance, they're getting nicked and all this sort of stuff. But I was like, I would say this is the time to buy them. Buy them now while they're at rock bottom. So for people who are switched on and willing to take the risks again, when there is a bit of a recession or there's like a downturn in the market, it can be an amazing opportunity to make money. That's how people do it on the stock market, and we're just doing it with cars.
Do you know what? You're absolutely right, Joe. When a recession hits, there's more money to be made in a recession than in an inflating market. Deflating, great. Because you can buy at the right money, can't you? We sold 2 sports last week. I've had them 8 months. And, I've had a Mustang. I can't remember how long I've had that. But everything goes in the end. You've got to think to yourself, Range Rover Sport, that's one thing all of us are, is scared. None of us are scared. You can't be in this job. You take a lot of risk, Joe. Dave, I've seen your stock profile change. And it's only going to get better and better. Because every day's a new opportunity, isn't it?
For just what like when you do what scares you the most, like buying a Tesla. If you said me 3 years ago, "Oh, we're going to start buying Teslas," I'd be like, "Well, I can't afford them, or they're not my type of stock." I think we've sold like 10 Teslas the last 2 months or 3 months. It's been great. And now I've got the confidence to go and buy more. That's the beauty of this job. Like you can build your confidence.
Well, you buy one and then you think it's not that bad. But wasn't the best feeling getting in that Tesla for the first time and not having a clue how to start it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Oh, I've
because
got to look it.
It's different. It's different,
Yeah.
isn't it? Everything's different
brilliant.
inside. And why can't they do that with ICE engines, with ICE cars? ICE cars are still boring, aren't they? I drive an EV. My wife drives EV. My kids drive EV. The kids drive EV because they charge it at the office.
It's a no-brainer.
But
Yeah.
it's true.
Brain to them.
Yeah, exactly. And I love EV. I think EV is the way forward. But my wife does 2 miles a day, if that. She takes the dogs out, goes whatever. And she's had that car nearly 2 years, and she loves it. It got hit in the car park the other day, and they gave her a Range Rover Sport, the insurance company, and she hated the Range Rover. And she's always been a Range Rover person, always driven Range Rover. But she's got a BMW EV, and she loves it, absolutely loves it. And it cost me nothing. That, on Credit Agricole, PCP, it's an IX, so it's 55, something like that. It's $297 a month.
Crazy for what you get as well.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Again, like the whole price of the EVs, they're all, like you said, they're all coming back up again now. So again, if you got into one at the right time, then you're doing well.
They're all coming up apart from MGs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, you're all right.
They did well for a time though, didn't they? Because they were the ones that had batteries or whatever it was. They're the ones
And they were like the cheapest going, weren't there, or something?
But do you know, I was I hope I'm all right saying this, but I was a heavy drinker for a long time. And I suffered in this job for a long, long time. And what happened was my sister passed away of it. Because I'm West Indian, alcohol plays a major part in my life. I lost my little sister about 13 years ago. It was a very painful time. And I stopped drinking because of it in that respect. But I always limited myself because of my alcoholism. Do you know what I mean? So I'd go to BCA and I'd buy 3 or 4 cars because that's all I wanted to handle. And when I stopped drinking, it was like a rebirth. And I thought, I can do anything here. I don't have regrets. I wish I'd done it a long time ago.
But you can only play the hand you dealt, and you can. That's what people say. Oh, I should have done this. I should have done. It's one of my pet peeves in life is people not saying you are Sheik, because you're about exactly what I'm saying, but the people who are like, oh well, they limit themselves because of mistakes they've made in the past, and then they're like, oh well, I should have done X, Y, or Z. It's like we didn't, but that's where you are now. So let's make an improvement from here. It's never too late. Crack on.
Exactly. And I surround myself with motivational people. I really do. I don't want to hear the moaning. If I have a moany person around me, I just don't want to hear it. Yes, we got to fix an engine or that. Yes, I forgot about an iBase that I've had a year. Yes, I've got issues.
Let's talk about solutions, not problems.
That's it.
Problems are so boring, just talking about why it's such a big problem, why it's whatever. It's like, I don't want, and who cares?
But it's like you say there, Joe, about action. It's action what you need. Not talking about it, not moaning about it, just doing it. Action.
Yeah.
That's what you need to do.
I think we do need to, as a company, we do need to find another resource for buying, because my fees on motorway are about 45 grand a month, which is a lot of money.
Oh my God.
It's a lot of money. That's 100 cars.
Mm.
So that's a lot of money you're sourcing. I have got a car buying site, and where I operate in East Sussex, it's a very affluent area. So we're near Bedgebury, Buellwater, Tunbridge Wells, Maidstone. It's quite an affluent area, and the cars we buy locally are really nice. Really one owner, full history, proper things. So I'm going to bring in the PPC for that on Google and start building that side of things. But like everything, it's about resource, isn't it? Like if you guys wanted to move to 150 cars, then would I recommend going from 50 to 350? Definitely not. But if you were going to move to 150 cars, I would really take a plan and look at what that's going to look like in the big picture. Do you know what I mean? But I would always say go for it. Go for it. Because you guys are all the same.
Where is the sweet spot, Sheik? Like, what number would you say is sweet spot for making decent money?
I've been told 500.
Well within reach then.
I've been told by Auto Trader and a few supermarkets 500 is the number. That's what I've heard. I would go from where you guys are, and I'm not trying to teach you suck eggs. I'm the same. I would maybe go to 100, 150. Because then 150 people, you're looking at 25 staff, 20 to 25 staff. Establish all the problems with the workshop, with the body shop, with the valet bays, with the purchasing, with all the rest of it. And then you can copy and paste. There's nothing stopping you copy and paste it. Once you've got that system right. I know some supermarkets that have bespoke systems built for them. CRM, DMS, all that stuff, you know what I mean? And we're learning. We've made mistakes. We've signed contracts for 5 years, and I wish I never signed them. Do you know what I mean? Because it's gone wrong. You know, it is what it is. You know, I've got a phone system I signed a year ago. I wish I never locked myself in 3 years. You don't know, do you?
You don't know until you're using it and 2 months in and the internet keeps dropping out or whatever.
What's your guys' aspiration? I know, Joe, you do a lot of YouTube, so do you, Dave.
That me, it's 100 in my head. 100 cars, but 100 nice cars. Do you know what I mean, Sheik? Like, I just want to have everything. And I'm like you, I'm not a car guy, you know, but what I see from selling the nicer cars, the prestige stuff, it does make the job easier when you've got that type of stock on your premises. So for me, I just want to create a nice, you know, we had Umash on the podcast the other day, and he's like, he loves having 25 cars. I think for me, I don't want to be like 300. I don't know if I could handle it, but I think 100's my sweet spot where we could have a nice team of people where it still feels like that family sort of business. But I know for a fact I'll still be like you when I'm 60, still wanting to do it.
I think you'll get to 100 quite quickly, and then you'll think, I'm doing 3 a day. I could do 6 if I had another 100. And Joe's already thinking it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know
Yeah.
when you hit the number? Last Saturday we done 16 cars. It becomes normal. Doing 7, 8 a day becomes normal. And we're never complacent about it. But that hunger to expand is in your DNA. It's in your DNA. You can't help it. But it's just having the know-how of how to do it. No one's better than anyone else. No one is.
No.
You know, having the foresight and the insight to get to think to yourself, I can run and do, can get there. Bigger isn't always better, but for us it is. Because the vision where we want to be is exactly where we want to be. But you look at turnover for profit, our industry ain't great. It ain't great. There's no money.
The margin's horrific, isn't it? You know,
Yeah.
you can turn over 10 million and your profit, it's like 2%, isn't it? It's something daft like that.
Yeah. Well, Big Motor Mill turned over 700 million and made 2.2. They did expand. And God knows what wages are on there. Probably some huge wages. Yeah. I think for the future for us, it'll be further expansion. It's only because I have to have change in my life all the time. I probably got what you've got, Joe.
What's that? Oh, like the same sort of like bit of ADHD or something. I don't know. Talking about I don't know what my plans are.
Come on, Joe. What is it? Is it 200 cars? 300? What is it? Or just
No,
keep it?
no, not at all. You know what? I wish I could have got the car-based site that I went and had a look at. That was just up the road from here, because you would have got 100 cars or something on there. It had the flat, it had the petrol station, so I could have had like the office for the YouTube media guys and any other kind of admin-y type stuff that I wanted to do, and add nice. And it would have been a real good step. I was really disappointed that, and the more I think about it, the more disappointed, because the guy who owns it, I think basically he's somehow other in bed with Carbase. I think maybe he owns their other sites. So they were like, no, Carbase had vetoed another car business going in there, basically. So it's sat empty at the moment. Someone's in there operating the petrol station.
Yeah.
But showroom's just, you got a load of furniture upside down in there, and the yard's completely empty.
I met the guy who owns Carbase, Martin. I think his name's Martin. I met him at an England-Pakistan cricket match. Really, really nice guy. And he said to me he was scaling back, but I didn't have a long conversation with him.
No.
Not long.
I mean, that would have been a great step for me, and especially everything on one site, because I think just separate sites is just going to be a headache for me.
Do you know the thing, Joe, for us, having that prep where we are, I've got 6 bays with an MOT bay. I've got an oven with 8 car parking for paint, and I've got internal valeting for 2 cars, and then obviously parking. If I was to set up another car site, I'd set up exactly the same. Because you've got one section runs down the side, one whole warehouse, which you've got space for 15 salesmen, 15 or 20 desks. You've got upstairs, then you've got 6 ramps, then you've got the body shop, then you've got valeting, and then the rest of it is just pure parking. And it's really, really set out to be a supermarket type of business. And I would definitely set up like that again, definitely in that way.
I bring you up on maps because I was looking at this yesterday.
It'll look a mess, Joe.
I don't think so. I think it looks all right. Let me find it.
Do you know, whenever anyone joins, they go, where do we park? See, it's a mess. So now we've encroached on this bit here as well. See that bit of parking?
Across the road here.
No, that's Flintwell Park. We're further down. If you go down to your right,
Yeah.
so there's Church Farm. We've got loads here. I've got 100 in here. The Russian embassy's just there,
Is it really?
Yeah, they were taken to court because their dogs ate the load of sheep.
Yeah.
So if you look where that blue bit is, that's basically the showroom.
Right.
And then next to that is the workshops, 6 workshops. Yeah, that's the site there.
Yeah.
And then you've got workshops next to it. And then you've got body shop next to it. We're changing all that signage. We've just employed a media company to deal with all our media.
And Sheik, how did you manage to get that site?
My daughter used to work at Blue. She's an underwriter. And a girl drove past it every day who was an underwriter as well at Blue. And she saw it empty. She rang my son and said, it's empty. So I rang the owner, and he didn't get back to me for 3 days. I was really hungry. And I kept ringing him. And he said, look, come up and see us. So I went up, I met the owner. I don't own it, I rent it. It's on a lease. And he said to me, right, I want X amount for it. Can I say how much I pay for it?
Yeah, by all means.
Please.
100K a year.
Seems like nothing.
Yeah, that's great.
Do you know Croydon was 27 cars, and that was 70 grand a year?
Oh, well, there you go then. Bargain. Bargain.
I was scared because there's no chimney pot. That's true. Compared to South London,
Doesn't matter.
it doesn't. And so I met the owners and I said, look, I want it. So I met him in October and I moved in there 4th of Jan 22 on a 10-year lease.
Brilliant.
And we're now looking at other sites.
This is the thing, isn't it? This is how I wish that conversation. I got the telephone number for the guy that owned this place that I was interested in, and I called and he said, "Oh, that sign shouldn't really be up, and we shouldn't really have car sales in there or whatever." And I said, "Look, I know he lived because his business was based. He was in Gloucester, so he was about an hour and let's say hour to hour and a half away." I said, "Can I take you out for a coffee, or I'll buy you lunch or whatever? I just want to have a chat with you and tell you what I want to, about me and what I want to do and whatever." But he obviously, he had his arm twisted. But I really hoped I was going to have a similar sort of story to that.
I'd keep on it.
Why do we have to beg to get in anywhere? It's like, I feel like I'm going in with my tail between my legs wherever I go because I'm in the motor trade. Do you know what? I feel like swearing then because I get so passionate about it. I pay my bills on time. I never miss the rent. I'm always on, I don't make a mess. I make sure my site is clean and tidy. I'm a good tenant. Like you are, Dave. Do you know what I mean? Why is it we have to feel like we're second-class citizens to get anything?
Just the stigma, isn't it? Just the stigma. And it's a ridiculous stigma. Because like Mike Brewer said, all the car dealers he knows are top people. We all just want to make a living and we all love what we do.
I must admit, when Mike put out that thing about the fraud on the credit card, mate, I grew up in Balham. That's been going on for donkeys years, isn't it?
Yeah, it depends on who answers the phone, doesn't it? Because even my salesman now would be like, "Oh, he wants to pay for his car over the phone with a card. Is that going to be all right?" I'm like, "No, of course it fucking ain't. There's no way you're taking 20 grand on a card over the phone."
My daughter done a week with me about 8 years ago, and she got done straight. It was about 12 grand on a mini country, and there's so much finance fraud in Croydon. It's unbelievable. We couldn't get a finance company on board in Croydon. We had Black Horse for a little while, but then they pulled because they moved to their top 100 dealers. And now we've got we've got Credit Agricole, we've got Close, we've got Santander, we've got Northridge, we've got Blue, we've got everyone. So what we do is we put everything into a system and we do soft search on everyone. Everybody gets quoted finance. But I'd love you guys to see the operation. And listen, I haven't got it right. I have not got it right at all. But it's in the basics of getting rebuilt.
We haven't got it wrong.
You haven't been there.
This is the thing. Obviously, you've got this place. You don't. It's not running as sweet as you want it to. It's not. It's not quite.
Nothing ever is it?
It still works. It's still making money. So I think this is why you need to take your leg up. And I guess going back to your question, like what are my aspirations? I don't know at the minute. I wanted that other site. It didn't come about. I guess when the right thing comes along, I'll go for it. But in the meantime, all I'm going to concentrate on is getting my profits up. And then I'm in a better position to do those things and be like, right, let's have some more money or whatever it is.
I mean, I love your bravery, Joe. You know how that's where I made my money, in doing what you do.
Yeah.
Exactly. I would buy a 4.4 V8 Range Rover, or I'd buy an XKR, or because I sold from home, I realised that you can't have your Mondeos and your Insignias and your stuff like that. You have to have the VXR, or you have to have the ST220. You couldn't do that. And we bought desirable cars, but yes, they were more headache because most of them were not looked after as best as they could in their performance vehicles. But it made the job exciting. It really did. You see what you do, Dave, with those 3 Series and all that. I was buying them kits for my. And just before COVID, I was going to go to Guangzhou in China and get the body kits for the Evokes. That's what I was going to do. Because every Evoke I was buying, I was black packing it. I was putting the wheels on side steps. And I was doing remember in the old days when they used to just have a kit they'd put on the cars, like Harry Moss, they'd put a visor on the back of the 80s cars. I think that's what we with the Evokes. And it changes them up, doesn't it?
Yeah, oh, massively.
When you scale, it's all about prep. It's all about prep. It's all about what that car costs to prep. So what happens is you go from being individual into being data run. So your company is now numbers run. And the quicker you can get it out the door, the quicker you can turn the money. That's what it's all about. We've just moved to Dragon. The reason is because the workshop was always on Dragon. And we had to marry up the costings. And where it was divided with Click Dealer and Dragon, we've now gone to Dragon. We'd like to build our own CRM, but we have to know exactly what the prep costs are per vehicle and marry it up. It's difficult. You guys, when you get bigger, you'll start buying cars at grade 1, grade 2, mechanical, or prep, because you need to
get them out as quick as possible.
Exactly.
I think I misrepresent myself on my YouTube videos because Sheik's saying it, Mike's saying it. Like everyone seems to think I've got a forecourt full of $5,000 bangers, but we've got like 530 out there for 30 grand and all that.
I see, Joe. I see your cars, and you know what? When I was in Croydon, I'd done exactly the same. I had 30 cars, 30, 40 cars, and I loved it. And I built this MOT station. It was non-profitable because I didn't own the building. And I walked away 2 years later, moved to the other side. But I know that process. I know what it takes to go to DVSA. I know what they will need from me. I know what planning permissions are. I know exactly how to do it now. And having your own prep, as Joe knows, you've got your own mechanic now, haven't you, Dave?
Well, hopefully, yeah, soon. But is that the thing that you need more than anything, would you say then, Sheik?
100%. When you've got that mechanic on board, a lot of your stress goes. I'm sure Joe knows. When you can get the car in, you say to a customer, yeah, bring it back, lights come on. Yeah, bring it back, we'll get it sorted. I'll give you a car to run home in. We'll sort it. Done. And then you let them take the responsibility. Let them be accountable for their margins, for what you pay them. But knowing, Dave, you don't have to answer to people to get the car in for an oil and filter. You don't have to worry about brakes. You don't have to. All of it will come off you.
Yeah.
Booking it in with people, running it down there, doing this, doing that. It's headache, mate. It's headache.
Do you know what's interesting? Since we spoke to Mike, who kind of just reaffirmed what I already knew anyway, which is like prep in advance. So the car's sat in the forecourt ready to go. We've done 2 sales like that where they've turned up and they've gone straight on the day, and we've got their swapper in straight away. But on top of that, car will turn up and I want to take a picture of it for social media, put it on the stories. They've already got in the workshop. And Then you realise that they've done the PDI, it needed pads all around, and they've done a service within the same day that it arrived. And you're like, bloody hell, all that prep wasn't as much as you make it up to be in your head. And then if I want to trade it on, I can trade it on straight away, or I can, and it's retail ready for someone else's forecourt. Or
My stuff ain't pre-prep, Joe.
it's not.
No, none of my stuff. We haven't caught up from moving there to now. I've just employed a new workshop manager who's mustard. Really nice guy, done 10 years in McLaren. He really knows what he's doing. And that's what I was saying about employing A's and B's, because then it moves the whole system forward. And we work on iPads with Dragon in the workshop. So their KPIs are worked out from that. And they sign on a job, sign off a job, sign on a job, sign off a job. But we've got too many vehicles there. And we've just introduced a £99 reservation fee. When you leave that £99, you've got 48 hours to view the vehicle. If you're happy, you leave a further deposit. If you don't, the car goes back up. So, but on the back of that, we prep the car. So I'm moving the flow better. Personally, I'd love a prep centre, but you're looking at 2 acres,
I've
£1 million.
Yeah.
Well, I've got my farm. You may have seen some of the videos. So that my plan is that we're getting around to this winter. We're going to enclose some of the barn and whatever. And I'm probably going to get. I would love to have like a mini prep centre out there, so the cars get delivered there because you've got space to drop them off, and it doesn't interfere with the retail side here.
Yeah.
And I need someone again, like you say. I need an A player down there, like another me, who's like, right, okay, so you got. And again, I need to make the process. I need to find the time to make the process. I would need an A player there who will have a process. Test drive it first, see if it makes any weird noises or whatever it is. Then, if you know that it needs a bit of trim inside, you can order it. Then you'll whatever and whatever. So that is one thing I want to do.
I went to Corby to the Cinch Prep Centre about 4 months ago. And even Cinch hasn't got it right. Trust me. This place is 100 acres. That's how big it is. And the cars arrive, they drive them for 45 minutes. They list down everything, what they're doing. Then they go into light servicing and PDR and stuff like that. Then they go into paint. Then they go into wheels. Then they go into this, that, and everything else. But Cinch, like Zoom, if the customer had a problem, straight to the main agent. And you know what main agents like, Joe. They see it now, see it losing your life. It's $3,000, isn't it? Straight away.
Yeah.
And what Cinch were doing is the customer would ring them up and they'd say, it needs DPF, it needs a regen, it needs this, and this. The customer would go, well, if you don't do it, you can have it back. So they would just do it. Now they bring them back. So they've got a fleet of recovery lorries, a fleet of courtesy cars. And they've got a team of call centre people answering all the queries. And they've had to bring that in because of costings. But that place is enormous. The scale. And even when you look at Kazoo, and I know Kazoo was an awful failure, and it was, it stepped us up as car dealers.
Yeah, definitely.
I've been in this job a long time, and I've been guilty of it. Our customer service isn't good enough. You ring up 100 car dealers, how many times are you going to get, you all right, mate? Think it's here, give me a minute.
Yeah.
How many times are you going to get? The reason the big supermarkets work is because they're like McDonald's. They know what they're doing.
Well, yeah.
Customers get good service. Exactly. And we've got to do the same. If we want to excel, if we want to be the best of what we want to be.
Here's a bit of honesty for you. We put in for some of the car dealer awards, and so we're up for a few of them, but I didn't put in for anything that would come under the secret shopper because I just thought we're not up to where I want it to be. So I wouldn't put myself forward. I could just know that we're so busy that it would just be my luck that the secret shopper that phoned up and asked for a callback on something would be the one phone call that got missed or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
The job has changed. It keeps changing. And customers, I was going to say pundits, customers are much more educated. They are so much more educated now. If you look at the research that goes on behind buying a used car, huge. They know more about it in the car than we do. Do you need to pay someone a fortune for them to spoon-fed information on a car that people don't need? You don't, do you? They just have to be courteous, kind, manage customer expectation, and deliver what they're expected to deliver. How many times we use a system called AutoConvert? Have you used that?
I know of it, but I haven't used it.
It's quite good. You can run your whole company on it with notes. But how many times do people put notes on systems? Don't know. Don't know. But, yesterday we had customer buy a Range Rover Sport. And I've had that car 6 months, I think. I bought it when they were high and then they dropped. The woman left a deposit and it was in Mayfair. And the salesman said, I'll take it there. And she's not paid the full amount. She's only paid £1,000. Normally we don't do delivery without full payment. But we let Aaron take it there, took it to Mayfair, and this woman's got guards outside her house. So she sent 20 grand. She still owes, I don't know, 12 grand or something. But she's sending the money from Los Angeles. And then she said, oh, can't you just leave the car there? And we said, no, got to wait for the money. So he's had to come all the way back home. But you do a bit extra when you want out, and you go that further mile.
Oh God, yeah.
I want to make sure that all our leads are followed up properly, because leads ain't cheap. You look at your Auto Trader bill; it's an absolute fortune. 37 a month.
A month.
It's
Oh
terrifying.
my God.
Yeah, innit?
Oh
That's
my
more than all
God.
my overheads combined.
Yeah.
Really, Joe?
Yeah.
Same.
It's painful. It's painful.
But yeah, do you know what? Talking about leads and not losing them, and there's loads of things I've had to learn and adapt as you start selling nicer stuff. Having started out from buying cars for 100 quid from BCA and selling them for 6 quid that same afternoon, that I always thought like leads, if someone's just left, oh, could you call me back? They'll drop you an email and it's like, could you call me back? And I was like, I'm not going to bother, because if they really wanted it, they'd call me, sort of thing. And I just thought they would never convert. But since you have a salesman and they follow them up, I'm amazed by the amount of times that a sale comes from that.
A friend of mine works on dead leads. He's got a business that runs on dead leads. He doesn't charge you anything unless he sells on a dead lead. And he does 50 deals a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how much we're leaving on the table.
Yeah, it's those sorts of ones where you have a call, you miss a phone call at the end of the day and you're like, oh, they'll call back tomorrow or whatever. That literally could be a sale. It seems like it's not going to be anything. It seems insignificant.
But, Joe, and you do a lot. You do a hell of a lot. And it's hard. When you're doing everything, it's really difficult. You need those resources. But then we look at costings. But think to yourself, that's going to cost X amount to do. If I bring in admin to do that, it's going to cost X amount to do. If I do that, and none of us got an endless pot.
Do you know what I've realised the last couple of weeks is, video walkarounds. I never had time to do them. I used to do them when I wasn't as busy, and I'd do them myself. But now I've got Ali working for me, who does buying and stuff. But he's not busy all the time, so I'm like, oh, well, look, you do the video walkarounds. And since he's done them, honestly, we've done loads more car sales because of that. So we've all got these little things that we don't use. But like I say, we haven't got enough time to do it all. But when you employ someone,
Can't the person who does the pictures do them, Dave? While he's doing the pictures, just do the video walk around.
it's me who does the pictures. Yeah.
But the thing is, Dave, if you're doing the pictures, it really isn't that long to get your phone out, because I used to do my own ones. And I feel like, nothing against Jason, who does our pictures and sales and whatever, but I don't know, I just feel like I would do it. I'm used to talking on camera now, but just walk around 1 minute. All you got to do is whatever. And do you know what's crazy about that as well? Is that, as I said, I put 8 cars on like a trade sale Facebook thing yesterday. So I'm like, I need some money because I got to pay for cars coming in next week, and I'm trading out good stuff, but I got more stuff coming in and I'd rather just turn them over. But I put 8 on, 6 have sold, and the 6 that have sold are the ones where I remembered to just take our YouTube link for the walk around video and put it on, and they sold like that. And then it's, what a coincidence that the 2 that I didn't put a walk around, we've got them, I just forgot to put them on, aren't sold.
Well, you've got, Joe, you've got to think to yourself, if you were looking to buy that car, would you buy it just on pictures, or would you be enticed if you had a video? You could see the actual car.
Well, that's it, yeah.
You got to think to yourself that's what you are. I think we forget in our industry that we are a bona fide sales company. It's what we are. And our products have to reflect that, don't they? We forget that so many times. My upbringing was sales all my life. And I forgot that. I just thought I had to mould into what car dealers are. Do you know what I mean? And I don't mean that disrespectfully, but we've got to lose these shackles of what we were and what we looked at and become a professional outfit. It's what we've got to be, you know.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot more like that.
That can be its own fun challenge as well, can't it? Like you
Yeah,
say, oh, I want more cars. For me, I want more cars, or I haven't got space at the moment, so I want to do bigger values and that sort of thing. Buy more for our car buying site, but also just saying like, oh, I've set a system and a process. Like for me, saying to them, we are 100%. Don't you dare take pictures and videos of that car unless it's been prepped first. That's our new system. So it's not yours. Obviously the salesman want to get it listed and try and earn some commission. I'm like, it's got to be done this way first. And then when you see it happening, you're like, and I haven't had to ask anyone or prompt them. It's just like everyone's doing it, and you're just like, brilliant. And then you see the end result from it as well. So those are the sorts of things where I'm trying not to just be tempted to like, right, let me just buy more cars and find somewhere to squeeze them and whatever. It's like, let's improve the profitability so that the next time something like the X car based site or something comes up, I'll be like,
More prepared for it.
what you're doing, Joe, is exactly the right thing. Getting the process right, nailing those things. I mean, I've basically just put on top, just carried on putting on top, and it's not the right thing. You need to strip back and then think, what have I done that's right and what have I done that's wrong? And because you're immersed in it all the time, it's really difficult sometimes to do that.
I haven't done it on anything on a scale like you have, Sheik, but I would say one thing I say to people, like you're saying, strip it back. Or if you know you're going to start expanding and start hiring people, then you need to like have your system and your process and whatever right before you even hire that first person, so they can follow it on, and then the next person can. But I think we're all guilty of like, oh, I'm so busy, let's get someone in. Right, you're doing this bit and you're going to do that, and all right, I'll leave you to that. They're not 100% following the thing. And then you're like, oh, I'm still busy, let's get another person in. And they're all working at like 25% of what they could do
Exactly.
if you've given them a proper system.
Yeah. Well,
Exactly.
our new sales trainer is building us a book. So basically, it's a guide of how our company is run so that we can, well, because I'm not being funny, experienced sales members of sales teams, used car sales, not for me. It's not for me. I would say that semi-skilled or partly experienced is great. But to try and retrain into how you want it done,
Yeah, it's impossible.
I was speaking to someone else about this who also ran a car supermarket, and he would say, he'd rather they had no experience whatsoever, because
Can mould them into what you want them to be.
the example he gave was he'd overhear, a sale going on, and they'll have said no to a warranty or extended warranty about 4 times, and he's like, I hated it, but I had to go over and say, they've said they don't want the warranty, so leave it. Like this, if you're come from a sales background and you're if you don't sell them 2 products at least, you're a complete failure. Then it's hard, isn't it? Is attitude more important to you than skills or whatever?
yeah, I think that hunger is really important and attitude, being a nice guy. For us, Joe, I work with my 3 children. They're 33, 32 and 28. And my 2 sons have got babies and my daughter's not new. She lives at home. The boys don't live here. We employ a lot of youngsters, and it's really important to me that these people become better people all round, not just robots in what they do and become better salesmen and whatever else. But really, are salesmen? Are they? I would say no. I would say they're more managing customer expectations. They're presenting a product, and the customers now are so much more well informed. I think with youngsters now, we don't give them enough praise for how good they are. I would have everybody under 24. I think that they're so much more enthusiastic. They're so much more computer literate. They're so much more willing to do things. When you've been in this job over 5 years, can change your attitude to the job.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And when you've been in front of customers for over 5 years, it can really change the person you are, and you've got to keep bouncing back from that.
going to be easier to get younger people enthusiastic about it. A veteran.
Yeah, and you know, you look at a lot of the supermarkets, they onboard the youngsters, 50 grand OTE, come and work here, and they're working from 9 till 9, they're burnt out after 3 years, and then it's just the turnstiles. You know, bring more in, train them up, bring more in, train them up. We want to recruit and promote within. That's what we want. We want the youngsters that are joining now. We've got 4 new starters next week. We want the youngsters to come through the ranks, move up into being able to quote, move on to the hot desk, deal making and stuff like that. That's what we want. You know, and we want 10 sales, 2 teams of 5. That's how we're going to build it moving forward. But we are a sales company. So you're a sales company.
Someone said something, I wish I could give credit to whoever it was, but they said something along the lines of like car sales now, you're not really car salespeople, you're almost like facilitators. I can't remember what the exact phrase was, but
I'm sure it was Nick. Just facilitate the process of you're just there to help them, to guide them through it. That's it.
basically they've made their decision online, haven't they, beforehand? They've done their research, they've watched Jeremy Clarkson review it or whatever it is.
Being on YouTube.
And as long as they turn up and they fit in it and you can offer them finance, you've got a sale.
How many times, both of you, have you done a full handover on a car and showed them all the controls?
No, never.
Never. No.
Never.
Too busy. Like, there's the key. See ya.
My last word is petrol stations down there on the left.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's exactly what we say.
We ask people if they do want us to show you how the fuel cap works or whatever, because that is the one thing you get a phone call. They get to the petrol station like, how do I get the fuel cap open? Or if it's a Ford, where's my fuel cap?
It's true. It's been a really what I say about this job is there's so many elements to it. There's marketing, there's purchasing, there's retail, there's exit strategies, there's warranty part, there's finance, there's pictures, there's so much to it. And for you to get it all right, it will never happen. There'll always be something else. So we're just thinking of an exit strategy. So we want the business manager to go up to every customer and say, how's your experience? How did you find it? Was it okay? Did you enjoy it? There's so many elements to it, and it goes around this brain like 100 miles an hour all the time. That's why I don't sleep. But it's such an interesting business to be in. Really is. Do you guys do all the buying? I know you've got Ali now, haven't you, Dave?
So Ali just guides me with the buying now because, I was just a numbers. When I was buying cars, I was thinking, right, we've got 40 slots on Auto Trader, so we need 50 to 60 cars. So I'd just buy anything as long as it was good value. But now I've got Ali, we're going for stuff that's more desirable and it's selling quicker. So it's brilliant. So yeah, I do the buying, but I go to Ali for the guidance.
Right. He looks a bit like my brother.
You might be moonlighting.
I'll let him know that.
No, well, you know what? My brother passed away a long time ago. So that's another story, do you know what I mean? Sadly. But you know what? I don't know any other industry where I could have gone on with no experience at all. And I had no experience. I went out. My first car was a 325 M Sport D-Reg. That's the first car I bought to retail. It was a 1986 in Dolphin Grey. And I bought it out of a salvage yard. And I drove it down the M23 and it drove like that. It's like crab down the road.
Crabbed along.
And then I started doing Clio's, RTs, 91Js. And then I remember going to Blackbush years ago and I bought a Clio RND, was it? Something like that. Drove it down the M3 coming home and it overheated because the head gasket was gone. And I sat by the side of the road and I rang my wife. She's been my long-suffering partner for 35 years. And I said to her, honey, it's gone. And she said, go back to college, finish your degree and go and work for my brother. And I said, you know what? Give it one more go. And that was all them years ago, all that time ago. But it was, I remember the days when Exchange of Mark was the one. Exchange of Mark used to be the Bible, you know that, before digital time. But it was good fun then. It was, the game was great fun. It was more enjoyable. It's hard work. It's hard work. And my boys, they joined me, my sons, when they were 17 and 18. So they've been with me, they're 31, 32, 33. They've been with me about 15 years. And they've taken the baton. They enjoy, they want to be the best of the best, and they want to be turning over, 500-600 cars a month.
That's great. If you've got, especially family, but you've got even just a team around you that's that ambitious, that they're driving and you're always having to catch up, that seems like it'd be a recipe for success, as long as it's not a complete wolf pit and they're all trying to fight each other to get a sale or whatever. Then
no, my sons, one of them is operations manager, the other one is sales manager. Until we bring on a new sales manager, and they work really well together. My boys are only 11 months apart, so they even when they were kids, they had their own language. So they're really close. Even their sons are very close together. They're only about 4 months apart. My grandsons. I think that with family, I'm really lucky. My daughter's very skilled. She worked for a bank, then underwriter in a finance company, then a high interest credit broker, and now me. She joined me when I got ill.
And Sheik, will you buy all the cars then, or do you have a buyer?
My son's going to move into my oldest son, Pascal. He's going to move into the buying, but until I get a replacement for him, then I can't do it. We like to buy everything, so I do BCA, Motorway, and we buy quite a lot local. So I do all the buying. So I do BCA the night before. I go on, I tag everything. So I might buy, it's like you sell one and then you sell another and then you go and buy the most expensive one.
Yeah.
And then you're stuck with it. That's what happens. But I'll try anything. So at the moment, I bought 12 Land Rovers Monday. I do mainly, at the moment, Evokes. Got a lot of Evokes at the moment. So we black pack them, do this, do that. I've got a lot of EVs. I bought a lot of EVs recently. I've got ID3s, ID4, Skoda Enyaq, which go as cabs, EQE, EQS. I'm yet to try the EQS SUV. I want to, but I'm a bit scared because it's still around the 70 grand mark. So I'm a bit worried about that. Porsche Taycan has gone off. But Audi e-tron GTs have come back strong. I've just sold a couple of them. Yesterday we sold a van about a year, Peugeot Bip, I think. There's my grandson. We sold 6 yesterday, 8 the day before, 15 on Saturday. I'll buy anything, Dave. I don't feel right until I bought something.
And Sheik, will you leave like proxy bids on them then?
No.
So you'll just sit there and wait for them to come through?
Yeah, mate.
My God.
I'm on it all the time.
how much of your day does that take up?
To be honest with you, because I do my homework at night time, so I spend 2 hours a night doing homework. So I get home, it's an hour from where I live, where I drive to. So I leave at 7 and they're at 8. I finish at 6, I get home at 7, and then I spend another 2 hours doing my homework.
Oh my God.
So 2 hours in the evening, then what are you doing during the day to bid?
Well, it's easy to flip, isn't it? It's easy. I just don't even look.
Well, I'm glad it works well for you, because if I want to wait to bid on something on BCA, I get a little notification when it's 10 or 15 lots away, whatever you set it to, and I'll be like, it's always when it's 10 of, I'm like, right, okay, great, okay, so I get myself set down so I can do that, and then 20 minutes later, I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yesterday there was a Honda E. I bought my daughter a Honda E about 4 years ago, and I love them. And there was one we traded at 11,350, and I thought that's a 12 double. That's a good car. I forgot completely. It went through. It sold for 11,300, so I was pretty gutted. Do you know what I mean? But it's one of them things, we are fully stocked at the moment. We're not. We will hit this month 160, 170. but we're building to get to 250 plus by January. That's what we're rebuilding to. So with 10 salesmen, 2 deals a day each, that's 20 deals. We're going to try and do 8 to 10 a day. That's where we want to get to. You can plan as much as you want to.
If you've got 300 advertised on Auto Trader, will you have about 500 floating around you then?
No, normally about 370.
Right.
We normally got 70 sold at any one time. So there's 70, but because we have brought in a new workshop manager, he's getting through the cars quicker. By the time the £99 deposit is done, the next day or the next day after that is prepped. Those vehicles then are assigned, and then they go into the mechanical, and then they go into the body shop, and then they're mocked and polished and whatever else. It can be a big operation if you look at it like that, but it can be very intimate as well.
Yeah, if everyone knows what they're doing.
Yeah, I know every single person that's there. Yesterday, my photographer done 11 cars yesterday in one day, which is great, but that's the sort of scale we need to be.
The thing I would love most about your business, I think, Sheik, is just that I just like we said earlier, monetary stuff for me isn't that much of a drive. I just love the feeling like I'm achieving something. My achievements are 100% attached to my self-worth, ego, not in the sense that I've got like a strong ego, but you still have to feel good about yourself. I like seeing things happen. Do you know what I mean? And feeling like going into your place, seeing the guys that are working in the workshop, seeing the guys in the paint shop, sales are happening and whatever, and it's all happening around you because of you, even if you're hands-on with it. Like for me, would be like ultimate satisfaction every morning. Be like, great, this is what I've built and it's running. Look at it. It's like building a machine and all the bits working and like, oh, that cog's snagging up over there, whatever it is, the warranty department. Like, let's go and oil that a little bit.
Do you know what, Joe? That's exactly it for me. Sometimes I stand upstairs, I look down, and I think, look how far we've come. Look how far we've come. And the best feeling is when you sit with like the sales team and you motivate them. Yesterday, I was with a guy called Charlie. He only joined 2 weeks ago. He's 21. And a guy rang up on a disco part exchange, disco 411 plate. I think it was £6,000. So he rang up and the bloke said, I want a discount. And Charles gone, no, we're fixed price. I'm sorry. He's put the phone down. I said, Charlie, ring him up and see what he wants. I said, see if he's local. So Charlie rang him back up and he said, oh, are you local? He said, why didn't you come down and see it? He came down and see it and he bought it. And that's a great, and Charlie said, Ree, I've done that. I sold it. And that, it's a great feeling, great feeling for him, great feeling for me. And, that's what it's all about. Getting in there in the mornings and saying that, remembering who you are. When I was in financial sales, I ran a team of 8 when I was 22 and probably didn't know what I was doing. And I've forgotten myself. When you forget yourself and you think, he's doing it better than me, he's doing it better than me, so I'm going to follow him. Do you know what I mean? And when you forget who you are, and when you get back just thinking to yourself, I can do this better and I can get on with it. And you take back control and the reins.
Yeah.
We've all done it, haven't we? We've
Confidence,
all done
isn't it? It's having self-confidence in yourself and your abilities. And probably all of us were born with way too much, but it's great. You can use it to your advantage.
I go to bed every night and I'm like, I can do this. I've done it for years. I'm like, come on, we're going to do this. We're going to do it. You know what I mean?
But it's hard to self-motivate. It's hard because you've got the daily drag pulling you down every day. Do you know what I mean? And then sometimes you're knocking your head against the wall going, is this worth it? Is it worth doing? Do you know what I mean? Because some months we just break even because we're trying to get somewhere. That's just normal. It's just, and in the beginning we were hemorrhaging money. Hemorrhaging so badly. You know what I mean? I thought we were at one point going to lose it all because we just couldn't make it work. But then you take a fresh start, you restart, and you think, and because I've been there before, it doesn't really affect me.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to have a really high level of self-belief. You really do,
It'll come.
Right. We've kept you long enough. You're a very busy man. I've got someone who's messaging me saying they're coming to collect a couple of cars. So,
listen, guys, it's been so great. I've really enjoyed
I would love to have you come back on, Sheik, if you're up for it, because I feel like there's
100%.
100 more questions I'd like to ask you, I'm sure.
Yeah,
And you know, on a personal level, I'm not. I don't know everything. I don't make out I know everything. If you want to talk on a level about doing what I've done. I've gone there.
yeah.
I'm really open to it.
Oh, thank you.
I'm really open to it.
Yeah.
So I will share as much information as you guys.
You'll be sick of me
I know,
soon,
yes.
Sheik.
I'll be ringing
No,
you.
it's fine. It's fine. I'd rather I made the mistakes and then you guys did. And I don't mean that I'm somewhere ahead of you guys. All I mean is I could, there's a lot.
Can I just ask you, Sheik, was there any ever time where you thought you'd give it up?
Loads of times.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
It's not so much that. When I couldn't see an outlet and when the whole COVID thing happened, because that adrenaline rush of selling everything and getting mega money for it was such a buzz. And then it just died. Everything that goes up has to go down. And I think when it went back to normal, it was, but now that I've got this new challenge in my life, then it's just, and when I came out of my illness, I was in intensive care for 6 weeks and I was supposed to lose my kidneys and everything, my heart just got, and I didn't. You feel invincible. Totally invincible. You know what I mean?
It doesn't get any worse than that, so what am I worried about?
Exactly.
Exactly. My engine lights come on.
Yeah. When something bad happens to you, it gives you a surge of energy, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Like, it energizes you, doesn't it? It does.
It does. And having these chats is so important because we all lose track of where we're going. We all lose track of how good the job is. We lose track of how good we are. And we need each other to motivate ourselves every day to get up. We can do this. Let's get in there. Let's sell some cars. Let's make it happen.
We can do it.
Thank you guys so much.
No, I really appreciate you coming on. Where should everyone find you, Sheik? I know you're on TikTok every now and then and whatever.
Motor4U.com. MOTOR, number 4, letter U.com.
Brilliant. Thanks so much, Sheik. We'll have you back on soon.